I actually did quite a lot of research before I decided which company I was going to use. There were a lot of places on the internet to look, and there was Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, various places in Europe as well. I basically decided, because of the relationship that I built up with Grania, who is the managing partner of Lotus Medical International. Well, I've been talking to Grania for, well over 12 months. We've had probably around about 100 emails or so, 30, 40 phone calls, I would think, to the stage where not phone calls from the point of view of trying to elicit work, but phone calls about inquiries that I'd made for different types of procedures, how much they cost, how they're performed, what the success rate is, things like that. So the communication's been fabulous, and as time drew in to me actually arriving in Thailand, we were probably emailing every day and talking on the phone at least every other day probably.
And what were your main concerns when looking for surgery abroad?
Clearly, you hear all these horror stories, and so I did, as I say, I did a fair amount of research. What I wanted to make sure was that the doctors that were going to be treating me were known to be experts in the field, and so again I did some research and actually got the names of the doctors and checked out their qualifications, and actually looked at testimonials that of patients that they'd had as well. And obviously I also took some of the information that Grania gave me and did some research with that too. So I'm very confident that the surgeons are top notch, top class, and they actually perform lots of places, not just in Thailand, but I found out myself they actually do procedures in America and other places around the world as well. Because of previous surgery that I've had, and I want to do something about the fact that I've already got scars, and I've not as toned muscly. My muscles aren't as toned as they were 20-something years ago due to a series of previous stomach operations and also a cesarean when I had my first child, my only child. I am going to have breast augmentation, but not to the extent that some of the young ladies have them. I'm just kind of making gravity work against itself for somebody in their early 50s, and I'm going to have a small facelift. The idea really is that it's quite subtle what I'm having done, so I think I'll probably notice it more than most other people will, and that's really why I'm having it done. I'm not planning on sort of getting off the plane and having double D's and a stretched face. I'm very much wanting it to look quite natural, really. The Serenity Suites are superb. Grania has arranged for me to stay in a beautiful suite with its own private swimming pool, so I'm not going to be overlooked in the morning when I get up and go for a dip. The rooms are top quality, probably one of the best I've stayed in, and I've stayed in quite a lot of different hotels around the world. The views are spectacular, and the staff are really, really good, very nice, very friendly, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy the rest of my stay.